Contrary to what your doctors told you, Crohn's and colitis are reversible. Now, I've helped hundreds of people reverse their bowel disease, and I'm here to help you do it too, because inflammation always has a root cause. We just have to find it. This is the Reversing Crohn's and Colitis Naturally podcast. Now, I do these live trainings in my Facebook group every single week and put the audios here for you to listen to. If you want to watch the video versions of these episodes, just click the link in the show notes to get access to our Facebook group and YouTube channel. And for weekly updates, information, tips, and tricks, you can sign up for our email list by clicking the link in the show notes below. If you've ever been told your IBD is just genetic or from unknown causes and that your only hope is drugs or surgery, I'm here to tell you that was a lie. Now, maybe your doctor didn't know it, but effectively they lied to you. And so in this training, we're going to be talking about how we can reverse IBD. We'll be talking about the 5-step process I use to help people reverse IBD, the absolutely critical stages that most people and practitioners, doctors alike are actually missing when helping people reverse their bowel diseases and get healthy. And of course, I'm going to give you an example of this and walk you through what we did with a client who's gone through and used the same process. She's now 9 months medication-free, pain-free, everything-free, symptoms are gone. Just got her calprotectin back, it was like 4. So she's doing incredible, everything's gone. I'm going to walk you through that. Now, if you're new here, my name's Josh Deck. I'm a holistic nutritionist, IBD specialist, medical lecturer, and physician's consultant for inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's, colitis, and severe IBS cases. I've helped hundreds of people find natural relief from their IBD and digestive issues, come off medication, and we're here to give you those tools too. Now, you're probably all familiar with the 5 R's. Those of you who are regulars, I'm going to go through that quickly. For those of you who are new, we have a whole other talk on that one, so you can ask me for it. I'm not going to go into huge detail, just a few minutes, and I want to take you through, most importantly, an actual case study from a real client, so you don't just have the theory, but you can understand how this is actually implemented and realistically used in these protocols, so you can learn to do this yourself. Now, before we get into the 5 R's, if you guys know the 5 R's, it's going to be number 1, remove the problem, replenish nutrients, rebuild the biome, repair the tissues, and of course, rejuvenate the immune system. There's one big step almost everybody misses every single time or does a poor job of, and I've been guilty of maybe not doing it as thoroughly as I should for the sake of trying to get the clients faster progress, which has been shown to be a problem. So the first thing we have to look at, it's called drainage. What is drainage? Drainage is the outdoor. Drainage is any pathway in which things exit the body or move around the body. There's all kinds of highways inside of your body where things get out, they come through, they move around, they get filtered, they get excreted. And so we have basically movements, we have filtering systems, or we have exit doors. And some of them are multifunctional, but this is how we get things out of the body to help get you healthy. So let's talk about this really quick. The first exit we have in drainage, we have some pretty obvious ones. You have your bowels, right? You've got urine that's going to be through the kidneys and the bladder. We also have an exit door through the skin, or many exit doors, millions and millions of little pores. Now, these are the obvious ones. Bowels, we go through the kidneys, or we go through urine, we go through the skin. But believe it or not, there are actually more exit doors that we have. We do have, some people don't think about these, your sinuses and your lungs. These are also exit doors. Think about how things get congested in your sinuses, you're inflamed, your lungs, exhale. The bowels, of course, there's stool. Through the bladder is going to be urine, and then through the skin is going to be sweat. These are how things exit the body. We have 2 other symptoms. I'm just going to put move and filter. We have a couple other systems that do this. Now, your movement and filtration systems are how things move around the body in their own way. Now, before we go to exit, we have the kidneys. We have your liver, which is a filter system. Of course, we have your lymphatics. Now, your kidneys, they actually filter blood. They extract the water. This is how they make urine. The lymphatic system is part of your immune system. It's how things move around. It's like the superhighway. Think of it like you have an accident on the highway, and your immune cells, the ambulance, the fire, the cleanup crew, they have to get around this highway to get where they need to go. They can use the lymphatic system. And with the liver, of course, is a major filtration organ, 500 plus chemical functions. We need it to be healthy. We need it to get this junk out of our system. But something people also don't talk about is bile ducts. Bile ducts are these little tubes that basically go from the liver into the gallbladder into the small intestine. It actually shares with the pancreas, called the common bile duct, and that can get clogged up. So let's talk about these really quick. Drainage is something most people don't do, don't think of, don't utilize, they forget. So through drainage, we have your exit doors, but we can't exit until we filter. So that looks like kidneys. You're filtering toxins, you're filtering junk, you're filtering this out of your blood. You may have noticed that sometimes your urine gets really potent, really pungent in smell. Maybe it's really cloudy, really dark. These are filtration processes. The more concentrate of things you have inside your urine, the smellier, cloudier, darker it's going to be. This is the point, as well as hydrating. It allows your body to not have so much concentrate going through these really fine-tuned filtering mechanisms where literally one blood cell at a time can get through these tubules inside the kidneys. So we have to make sure we're well hydrated for that. Lymphatics, we can look at opening the lymphatic system. Now, your blood pumps. It's got valves in the blood vessels, so your veins and arteries have valves, and you have a heart that physically pumps the blood through to push it through as these valves open and close to prevent backflow and all kinds of stuff, keeps things segmented. But your lymphatic system has valves, but no pump. There's nothing to move it through, so how does it move? Through physical activity, through movement. These are how your lymphatic system pumps. The muscles actually contract around that. They act as the pump like your heart does to your blood, helps move things around. This is why being stagnant is really bad for you. This is why exercise can be so good for you for detoxing and moving and getting things through the body. So if we want proper drainage, we need things to exit. Your body's trying to repair. I'm going to back this up and explain this a little bit more in detail. Your body is always trying to repair. Imagine you had a fire in your kitchen, right? You're inflamed in the body to put a fire in the kitchen of your home. In order to repair that, you have to take down the walls, you have to take out the old appliances, you might have to do some repainting, but in that process, there's going to be debris, there's going to be scraps you have to get rid of. Now, if you just took all those scraps and piled them up in your living room or inside the tissues of your body, like your liver and other areas, you trip over it. It trips up your immune system. It causes inflammation. We have to get these things out of the system through drainage pathways. All the cleanup crew activity of that construction crew fixing your kitchen needs to go into the garbage, get out of your house so you can live in your house comfortably. The same thing happens with your body. You need to get the junk out of your system so your body can live and not constantly be trying to react to it or clean up, which elevates your immune responses, contributing to inflammation and autoimmune disease. So we need drainage. So we got filtration through the kidneys, water, electrolytes. There's all kinds of vitamins, minerals. I won't double dip here, but water and electrolytes. We have to look at lymphatic system. This is where movement comes into play. We have to be moving. The bile ducts, we'll get to that one in a sec, but liver. Liver is pretty easy to support. There's all kinds of good stuff you can take out there, certain vitamins and NAC, that's N-acetylcysteine. You can take your milk thistles and beetroots and all kinds of stuff to support the liver and good vitamins, but bile ducts get really tricky. Bile ducts are where we get into things like sludgy bile, which will recirculate. Your body recirculates 95% of it because it's very expensive to make. But if your liver is junky, you're creating gross sludgy bile. It's holding on to toxins, recirculating around the body, not digesting food, not detoxing you properly, and this gets stuck. So we have to open up our movement and filtration systems, number one. Okay. Number two, we have to open up our exit pathways. If you have a huge amount of diarrhea, well, the pathways are open. If you're severely constipated, we need to induce bowel movements. I prefer to use things like magnesium citrate, high doses vitamin C, aloe, even mineral oil. I'd rather use some of that, or castor oil, before I use pharmaceutical grade diarrheals, which will cause that bowel to move through, because we want water in there to move through as cleanly and naturally as possible in substances your body knows. Your body doesn't understand what these other substances are in the way of pharmaceuticals, okay? Urine, we talked about, that's hydration through the kidneys. Skin, this pairs with lymphatics. You need to be moving, sweating. I don't mean go through a HIIT workout, high intensity interval training. What I mean by sweating is get yourself active. Go for 20, 30-minute walks. Get warm, go swimming, go for a bike ride. Sometimes it's just 20 minutes walking around the block. This will help things move through the skin as well. Great for helping detox mold and all kinds of other stuff. Sinuses and lungs. Now, again, this is going to be exercise, nasal breathing, not mouth breathing. If you're somebody who's very stuffy in sinuses, that can mean something else. Could be a parasite issue or something else, okay? So we have to open our exits, have to move and filter. This is drainage. If these are blocked up, you might know you're blocked up by somebody who doesn't sweat very much, someone who has a lot of food sensitivities. You eat fatty foods or other foods, you get things moving through the bowels too quickly, you get urgency, a lot of blood, a lot of pain and cramping. You get puffy hands, puffy feet. And again, not sweating very much is a huge sign of it. Somebody with puffy, stuffy sinuses, it could be another issue, again, with drainage. If any of these are clogged up, no matter what you do to your body to try to remove and go through the 5 R's, you will never get better unless you implement drainage. This is the most important part. So now that we've gone through drainage, we talked about the movement pathways, we talked about the exit doors, I want to talk about the 5 R's really quick and then get into an example. Now, if you've seen the 5 R's before, bear with us because we're going to get into it and actually apply this now so you can see it. If you're new, this is really cool. This is a pretty amazing stuff, okay? So these are the 5 R's, and of course, I haven't used my marker for 8 seconds, so it dried up. So let's try this one. 5, there we go, beautiful. 5 R's of reversing IBD. The first thing we have to do, now that we've opened up our drainage, we have to remove the problem. If your body, a common cause I see, for example, is parasites. I see a lot of fungus, I see a lot of mold and Clostridia and all kinds of other things. We have to remove this, but there's layers of removal. If somebody comes into me and they went traveling on vacation, for example, they came back from Mexico and they're very sick, I'm gonna run them on a parasite protocol, probably. Now, this is fresh, this is first instance. I'm not saying do a parasite protocol because you're gonna have drainage issues if this has been going on for a while. You're going to make yourself very sick. You're trying to evict the tenants. They have nowhere to go. They're going to throw a fit and cause a problem. You're trying to drain garbage with plugged drains. Things will overflow. You'll flood your house. So don't go trying to remove things like parasites and toxins without good drainage. This requires professional supervision. I've seen people put themselves in the hospital. Do not do this without supervision, okay? So we have to remove the problem. If it's a short instance, maybe you've gone to Mexico or something, you went to Puerto Rico, you went to the Dominican, or traveled around anywhere in the States of North America, lots of clients with parasites. It's not just other countries. So maybe we have to remove the problem, whatever that one is. The next step towards this process, maybe we have to remove the thing that opened the door for that problem. So for example, this is where we'll see certain toxins. And toxins are a big one. If you guys know my Venn diagram, I talk about the 3 causes. Toxins and microbial imbalances are the top ones next to nutrient deficiencies. Remember, we need nutrients for drainage and other things to repair your gut microbiome and your tissues. But toxins and microbial imbalances are a huge problem. Toxins and nutrients lead to microbial issues. What kind of microbial imbalances might we have? Parasites, fungi or yeast, right? Your candidas, we might have Clostridia, we might have bad bacteria, Klebsiella, Citrobacter bacteriums, all these overgrowths may be related to this problem. So we have to open these pathways and get things out of the system, okay? So toxins, we're gonna remove those because toxins, they create inflammation, which sets the stage for other things to come in. Let's talk about what this looks like. If you guys were here last week, you saw the live we did here in the Facebook group for Mary. Mary went through 17 years of inflammatory bowel disease. She was dealing with all kinds of issues, really bad urgency. She's a school teacher, so she'd have to go out. She'd be on field trips, have to stop the bus every little bit, use the bathroom, have emergency kits, changes of clothes. It got really gnarly, a lot of pain, a lot of bloat, fatigue, the typical symptoms, blood and mucus, and urgency. Well, what happened with Mary, she first had toxins. So she got mold in her system. She had a lot of mold that we found in her system. What does mold do? It lowers your immune system. It lowers the defenses. So she couldn't defend herself very well. This led to fungus overgrowing, and these things opened the door for parasites. So now Mary actually had 3 different things going on. She had mold in the system, which lowered her defenses. Mold is actually a fungal byproduct. She had candida overgrowing, which also lowers her defenses. She had parasites. But here's where things get tricky. Parasites will inhibit your body's ability to fight, get rid of mold and detox these other things. Fungus and parasites contribute to each other's ability to stick around. They kind of hang on to each other in a way, so to speak. And so we had to go through, open her drainage, remove some of the mold, take down some of the fungus, come back to the parasites, back to the mold. We had to jump around, but this is the process of removing it. Your body is never reacting out of nowhere. If your doctor says, well, it's just genetic, there's nothing we can do, it's just autoimmune, it's just blah, blah, blah. Never. Everything in the body is cause and effect. We know this. My arm bending is a cause and effect reaction of a contracted bicep, relaxed tricep. The effect is a bent arm. On a microcellular level, the cause is sodium potassium moving in and out of the muscle. The effect is allowing that electrical contraction to occur. If I get pink eye, the cause is bacteria, the effect is inflammation. If you have bowel disease, the cause is something, the effect is inflammation. Your body's trying to heal you from the problem. It's never random. She had mold, she had candida overgrowth, she had parasites. We had to remove it. So we opened her drainage, proceeded to remove the problem. That's the first R. Remove. We cannot, your body is always reacting to something, cause and effect. The cause is a pathogen or an invader or something. The effect is inflammation. Let's remove it and let your body heal itself. This is how this works. The second R we're going to get into. Now, People often think this is like a step 1, 2, 3. They're often done in tandem. Sometimes we jump around. Sometimes we do a lot of this and a little of this and mix it up. This is why we work with you guys every single week. We work with our clients hands-on because we have to micromanage this. But the second R that we work through is replenishment. Replenishing. Think of your body like a city, right? I use this analogy. All of your organs are factories. All of those factories, let's talk about your liver. Your liver is a factory, okay? Your liver has workers. These are the cells inside the liver that do their jobs. They do all these amazing little things. There's 500 plus functions they do. They detoxify and balance hormones, and they help you digest food. They help filter all kinds of junk. These are your workers. But your workers in the factory cannot do their job unless they have what? They need tools. So what are tools to your cells? This is the replenishment, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, the things you eat and consume, break down, digest, and absorb. These are the tools that your workers need to support the entire factory to allow it to do its job. If you put something in the entry of a factory, it comes in the first door. By the time it comes out, you now have a new product. It happens with everything in between. Your body needs to replenish the nutrients to do its job, to allow your body to work and function properly. Let me reclip my mic here. Got a little excited. There we go. So we have to replenish. This is a step most people miss. They think their body's just going to do it all, but imagine this. Imagine your body, okay? You got a little cute little house. You live on an acreage and you have well water, okay? And you live off this cute, adorable little well. You have just enough water in your well to bathe, to cook, to clean, to do your basic daily functions. What happens when your house is on fire? What happens? Well, you need extra water. You no longer have enough water or resources in your well to cook, clean, bathe, and do the basic things because you're using it all to put out your fire. You need more resources to handle the job of the increased demand. It's when you are highly inflamed, you are sick, you are whatever else is going on. That water, we need to replenish that. We need to replenish the nutrients to give your body the tools it needs to do its job for the factories to produce properly. Okay, so number one, the first R, we want to remove the problem. The second R is to replenish your nutrients, okay? And this is what we had to do with Mary. Not only did we go in and remove the mold and remove the parasites and take down the candida, the fungal overgrowths, but we gave her body the tools it needed. Here's the thing, people think we're magicians. We can go in and help somebody. We do all kinds of crazy stuff to get their body to fix because we know what's going on. There's certain steps and processes, but ultimately your body's doing what your body's going to do. We just facilitate the process it's been trying to do this entire time anyways. Your body is inflamed. Our job is to give it the tools it needs to continue that healing process. That's what inflammation is. Your body's trying to heal you. So let's facilitate that. If it can't remove the thing, it stays chronically inflamed. It's constantly on edge. It's constantly getting worse and worse, drawing down resources. And now it's this autoimmune, can't do it, can't fix it condition. No way. It's cause and effect, okay? So number one, we opened up her drainage, we removed the problem, we replenished the nutrients, gave her body the tools that it needed. The next thing we have to do, I'll put these two together because they go in tandem, is rebuild and repair. We have to rebuild the microbiome. When there's overgrowth of parasites, overgrowth of candida and fungus like there were in Mary, think about this. Your gut works like a fish in a fishbowl, okay? You have a bunch of good bacteria. These are the probiotics, the yeast and the parasites and the commensal bacteria, all these guys living in harmony together in this ecosystem. We feed, these are the prebiotics, the fish food, the fish poops. These are the postbiotics. Now, these are good things. These are vitamins. Your gut bacteria actually synthesize B vitamins and vitamin K and all kinds of stuff we need, short-chain fatty acids for inflammatory responses and all these great things. This is what your body produces as a byproduct of what we give it. But when you have an overgrowth of a whole bunch of bad guys in this ecosystem, they poop out bad things. This is a sad poop. They poop out bad things, okay? What happens is these bad things exit the fishbowl. They don't stay inside the gut. They actually get into your bloodstream, your lymphatic system, circulate around the body. They fill up with junk, and again, you're triggering your immune system. So what happens? We have to rebuild the microbiome, restore the integrity, and get rid of some of these bad guys And then the fishbowl's been damaged. It's how they got out. Your gut is leaky. Everything's inflamed. You could not live in a house that's on fire. You'd have raccoons and bugs and all kinds of stuff moving in with you. Not great roommates. So you have to rebuild the microbiome, restore the good bacterium, and repair the house that they live in. Repair the tissues of your gut. That's the next piece. Once we have this, we can rejuvenate the immune system. Picture your immune system like an octopus. It's got all these different arms. If all of its arms are working on one thing at a time and you boost your immune system, you will overdo this and cause a huge imbalance, boosting the imbalance of your immune system already. What we instead have to do is rejuvenate and allow it to learn how to juggle these things all equally again. That's rejuvenation, very different. So what we did with Mary, we opened up her drainage pathways, we opened up the movement and filtration processes, we removed the problem, we got rid of the parasites, we got rid of the fungus and the mold, we built up her nutrient profiles to give her body the tools it needed to fix itself, we rebuilt the gut lining for her, we repaired all of these damages and the ecosystem of gut bacteria, rebalanced it with food, with probiotics, with lifestyle, with all kinds of great stuff, and we rejuvenated the immune system through things like exercise and rest and polyphenols and all these really great antioxidants we have. We let her body do what it does to balance itself, and over time, it comes back into balance. And this is the basic process of fixing somebody's bowel disease, the basic process. Now, I want to put a shout out to you guys. If you're here and you go, Josh, this sounds really good in theory, but I have more questions. I want to learn about it. I've seen the hundreds of cases you did. If you watched Mary from last week, she was actually 17 years of bowel disease. She was taking Entyvio. Her doctors had her on this for over a decade now. We've been seeing her. We worked with her for a few months. I think she was about 6 months in and out. Mary is now 9 months completely pain, symptom, medication free, did her calprotectin, came back at a 4. She's perfectly healthy, no signs, no symptoms, no drugs, no nothing after 17 years. It is not impossible. If you guys heard us talk about Louis many times, Louis is a superhero. Louis was actually, oddly enough, another 17-year case. We just came back from Dallas, Texas earlier this year talking about it on an international TV show called Know the Cause. Louis was 17 years. His family prepped for his funeral on his deathbed several times. 3 or 4 times they prepped for his death, started drawing up his will, expected him to die. His colitis was so bad. He was having 15, 20, 30 bowel movements. He lost a whole bunch of weight. He worked with us. It took us all of 6 months in total of hands-on work with him. Guess what happened? He actually gained 35 pounds. His symptoms were gone. Nothing. He just came back from Greece about a month or 2 ago. And he was traveling, eating, drinking, enjoying himself, living his life. No drugs, no medications, no biologics, no pain, no inflammation, no urgency, no blood, no mucus, no nothing. After 17 years. I don't care if you're 2 months old or 200 years old. If you've had this for a couple of weeks, you've had this for a couple of decades, everyone can get better. Here's the gist. So much can be done. We have to find the root cause, go through the steps in the process, but everybody can get better. Here's the thing. The number one reason most people are not getting better, the number one reason, and I'm telling you this from experience, the number one reason people are not getting better is 1, they don't believe us. They just think it's a scam like everything else, and that's okay. Let us talk to you and you can make your own decision. The second reason people don't get better, there's a story, we call it 3 Feet from Gold. It was talked about in Napoleon Hill, and it's been a famous story since forever. But the story goes that there's a man who purchases a gold mine. In his job, he wants to go in. It looks like a good prospect. It feels great. And he goes in and starts digging. And he's digging. And it's been weeks and months, and nothing comes up. He's like, there's no gold here. I made a mistake. Cuts his losses, sells it for pennies on the dollar, gets rid of his gear, gets rid of his equipment, dumps it. Next guy comes in, buys it, goes 1 scoop, 3 feet into the dirt. Huge gold mine. Sometimes this happens. We have people coming in who are 50 bowel movements a day. Within 3 weeks, they're down to 5. We have people with 1 bowel movement every 2 to 4 weeks. Within a couple weeks, they're already going almost every day and feeling better. We have some people, 1 month, 2 months, nothing. They don't feel any better. But then suddenly, everything changes and everything starts coming out and their body starts to turn a corner. You have to trust the process. Most people don't even have the attention span to watch a 30-minute video. It's literally them and their ability to lean into a process, to take something on, to try something new, to go outside of what their doctor said. These are the biggest things that are holding them back. So I'm going to go through the questions right now. Anne-Marie had asked, this is your last chance to get these questions in. Also dealing with uveitis, if gut is reversed, should this in turn heal the eye inflammation? Yes. Absolutely. Here's the thing. We talk about your gut and your gut lining. Consider this, okay? I'm going to draw a picture here. Here's your large intestine. Whoop-dee. Ooh. I'm gonna put this in a museum, guys. Okay? We have your small intestine. Okay, so here's your organs. We have your intestines. Here's what happens. It is inside your large intestine, you get about 2 cells thickness that things can actually pass through until they get into your bloodstream and lymphatic system. In the small intestine, there is 1 cell that things have to pass through. 1 cell. That's like 1,000th of a hair. It's really, really tiny. And things pass through these systems. What happens when you're inflamed, we have what's called gap junctions. These little, think of them like a knitted quilt held together with stitches. When you are inflamed, these stitches open up and they produce gaps. This is what leaky gut actually is. It's gaps creating between the cells where things can pass through. Instead of going through the door, they just bust the hole and go through the wall illegally, bringing all kinds of junk with them. So you have large pieces and particles of food, chicken, cottage cheese, certain vegetables, all these things you're eating normally. They actually get into your bloodstream and lymphatic system. This is leaky gut. What happens is they signal around. Your immune system goes, whoa, buddy, you shouldn't be here. It sends the alarm bells, puts a big red flag on it, and now you have a big food sensitivity and allergy, worsened responses. But what does the immune system, or what does your lymphatic system and bloodstream do? They are the superhighway around the body. Things travel. Well, your eyes are connected to a blood supply, so things get into your blood, they travel around, they can get stuck into places they should not be, leading to uveitis or inflammation in the eye. They can lead to arthritis, inflammation in the joints. They can lead to asthma, which is an inflammatory response in the lungs. They can lead to cognitive health issues. We call it leaky brain. We have seen the same zonulin, which causes leaks in the gut. We have seen that in the brain and in the lungs through different studies. So we have leaky gut, leaky lung, leaky brain, leaky everything. These toxins get around the body, they cause inflammation, and they wreak havoc. And so every disease, look at the work from Dr. Alessio Fasano, kind of a legend, trying to get him on the podcast. But Dr. Alessio Fasano, he's got a paper that says all diseases begin in the leaky gut. If your gut is inflamed, you have things passing through where they shouldn't. They jump around the superhighway in the body and they start landing in other places, causing inflammation. Whether you have arthritis, you have any kind of itis condition, you have cardiac issues, liver issues, heart issues, that's cardiac. If you have renal issues, hypertension problems, you have blood sugar disorders, anxiety, depression, whatever it is, this is where things get really sticky because it's coming from the gut the vast majority of the time. But here's what's even more interesting. Your body speaks a language called symptomatology. You get a little more than a dozen words out of your gut, the words they speak. Gas, bloat, pain, constipation, diarrhea, increase, decrease appetite, blood, mucus, cramping, acid reflux, etc. These are the words your digestive system speaks. But all these other symptoms we talked about, all the other itis, all the other skin issues, all the other cognitive issues, hormonal issues, changes in your blood work, all these things tell us they speak another language. It's part of that symptomatology, the language of the body. If we can learn to read these symptoms, we can interpret the language and decipher the root cause or root causes and help you actually reverse this condition. By listening to the symptoms of the body. It's a language, we just have to learn to interpret it. That's a cool thing I was going to tell you. See, aren't you glad it came back around? So guys, I don't see any more questions in the chat, which is great. So we're going to wrap it up here. If you need help, it is literally one word between you and getting the help that you need to reverse this condition, no longer be medication dependent, disease ridden, in pain, managing things, trying to just balance it, hoping for the best, just simply trying to prevent flares. That's not what we want. We want to actually get you better. You should be able to reverse this condition, remove the reason why your body is actually inflamed. I cannot legally use the words cure, treat, or heal in what we do. I can't say I will cure you, treat you, or heal you. What I can say is if we remove all the things that your body is inflaming to, all the cause and effect, the things it's trying to respond to in a response to heal you, we can name the thing that your body's reacting to, name the thing. We can create a program or a protocol, like a roadmap to say, here's what we're taking for this time, lifestyle, food, nutrition, pharmaceuticals, supplements, whatever it is, a combination of a lot. Here is the roadmap we're going through to get you better. And here's the approximated timeline, seeing how you respond, modifying as we go. If we cannot at least do that, we are guessing, we are throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks, and it's not an actual program, it is guessing, and you're on plant-based medication, so you're going the wrong direction. Name it, identify it, make a roadmap, stick to it, and adjust as you go. And this is how we do it. If you want to comment the word solution, we'll reach out and make sure you get the help that you need and talk to you about the gut health solution. That's all we got for you guys for tonight. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Now, if you want help reversing your IBD, I'd like to invite you to join our Reversing Crohn's and Colitis Naturally community, where we give you the tools you need to actually reverse your IBD. Now, we've got courses, live Q&As, coaching calls, done-for-you meal plans, programs, and huge discounts on supplements from some of the top suppliers. Just click the link in the show notes to learn more.